even Hillary Clinton now, are telling us we're going to have a revolution in America. Well, that's not unusual for those who know that they planned it that way. And if it does come, I don't think their lives are going to be worth a plug nickel. The point is this, that the situation is bad. What is the core of the problem? It's the banking institutions. There's no other way to cut it. Everything else is extra. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the conservatives and the liberals in London, and on, they don't mean anything. It's the people behind the scenes who have deliberately caused this over and over and over again. And so with that said, the European situation, which you pointed out, is dreadful. But it's nothing new. I mean, I was writing 11 years ago about Goldman Sachs being in Rome, Milan, cooking the books for Italy so they could qualify for the euro. I mean, I wrote about it over and over again, as well as Greece, but not so much because Greece was a smaller country and it didn't matter as much, so to speak. It's just that it took that long for them to, I guess you'd say, screw everything up so badly that it's going to bring down the world financial system. And it is, whether it's next month or 3 years from now. They just had a question to central bank managers. And the question is, how long can the dollar last as the world's reserve currency? They said 25 years. Well, I got news for them. If it lasts 3 years, they'll be lucky.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, before we part ways, I wanted to ask you about this kinetic action in Libya, which is now, I think, in just over 100 days of dropping bombs on these people. What do you make of this president being in bed with the United Nations and NATO as we venture into what is, at this point, apparently another unending unconstitutional war action against a sovereign nation, Bob?
Doesn't care. He does what he's told. They need a war. They need a distraction. And after Libya, and of course they'll loot the country. They've already stolen their sovereign fund, $100 billion. And that they may have stolen that before. We'll find out later on, before this all happened. They might have got caught. I mean, these people are such thieves, it's beyond your imagination. I mean, you talk about evil. I mean, they don't think anything of not only stealing billions and billions and billions and trillions, they think nothing of having a war where 100 million people get killed. I mean, this is the kind of mindset you're dealing with, and it's hard for the average investor with a normal mind to be able to comprehend the diabolical intention of these people. And diabolique is the word to use because they are perfectly diabolical.
Yep, they are indeed, and I don't think that there's any way to put an end to this until humanity stands up together, and that includes all Americans and all American cities getting off their lazy butts and getting out there to say no. Unfortunately, most of the people in this country still don't recognize just how evil their own government has become.
It has been for a long, long time. It's just we never realized it. And had I not been in counterintelligence, I would have never known. And when I found out what they were doing, I said, gee, the mafia are good guys compared to these people. Mm-hmm. And that's true. They're both bad, of course. And this is where we've ended up today. They've taken the shot for world government, and it's not going to work for them. They're going to lose. And I get news for them. We're taking names, and we're going to have trials. They're going to lose everything, and they may even lose their lives.
You know, there was a report, this just popped into my head before I let you go. There's a report that Dominique Strauss-Kahn was set up because he had the goods on Tim Geithner and some others and was prepared to move against these guys for some of their malfeasance in the areas of the bailouts and everything else. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't, but it rings. It's a possibility, a probability. There's no question he was set up. And right on this program, what was it, 2 months ago, I said, absolutely. This is a typical CIA type of operation. I've seen it 100 times in 100 different countries. And they wanted to take this guy down, and they did it.
Yeah.
And it's easy for them to do it.
Yeah. Well, the maid had $100,000 put into her account. I mean, the whole thing is suspect. See, now they can let him off the hook, and they've gotten what they wanted. He's no longer the head of the IMF. So, mission accomplished.
Yeah, and he's one of them. It was an internecine fight.
Yeah.
It was for power within their own group.
Yeah, and
which doesn't happen very often.
Right, and I'm not making the argument that DSK is a good guy. I'm making the argument that he might be a better guy out of the list of bad guys. He may have been.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They took him to the cleaners, and we exposed it from the very, very beginning. And the only other one that did nationally and internationally was Alex Jones.
Yeah, Webster Tarpley was pretty much on that, right?
Well, maybe. He's very, very good. Very good. There are some very strong giants in this truth movement, and those two fellas, the two of them, along with Max and Paul Craig Roberts and G. Edward Griffin. I mean, these people have been at this a long, long time.
Yeah, and Webster Tarpley is really, moving heaven and earth, giving some live reports out of Tripoli and getting the historical record out there for people so folks that want to know can really understand what's happening in Libya. And some of his reports are just fantastic, Bob. I don't know if you've heard them, but I highly recommend.
He's brilliant. Yes, I see them. Yeah. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I'm anxious for this Pan-Asia Gold Exchange to start taking some physical off the market. They're going to be storing gold bullion and gold bars, and the word is that it'll have an even more drastic impact on the silver market because, as we all know, the silver market is just so infinitesimally small. So that'll be something that'll be really fun to keep our eyes on as we move forward, Bob. Hey, how do we get people hooked up with the International Forecaster?
Well, the forecast is about business, finance, economic, social, and political issues all over the world. Published on Wednesday and Saturday by email, runs around 40 pages each time. We have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the Internet, and everything that you need to know every week is in that publication. You can get a free introductory copy by going to theinternationalforecaster.com. For those of you who want a question answered, we answer everyone, or a copy of either report or a copy of our recent recommendations in gold and silver shares, you can email us at Bob, B-O-B, at intforecaster.com.
Absolutely. And, folks, if you do have an intelligent comment or question for Bob, he really does take the time to answer everybody, which is amazing given how busy you are. So, Bob, thanks for all you do, and until we speak again, take care of yourself.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate being on your program.
I appreciate having you, Bob. Thanks for your time. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be doing these. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all your support. Good night.